You're a high school graduate working as a janitor. Hut suits you well, loser. Back in middle school, there was this classmate who seemed to have it out for me no matter what. She was a smart girl who even served as a class representative, but she always kept to herself. This girl really disliked me and would pick on me at every opportunity. I had no idea why, but after I pointed something out to her, she completely turned against me. We went our separate ways after high school and lost touch, but I never imagined we'd run into each other at the company. Her attitude towards me hadn't changed a bit since middle school. She still looked down on me. "Crawling on the floor and cleaning is just right for you," she said with a mocking laugh. In response, my secretary tore up her resume right in front of her. "Leave right now. Did you come to the interview here without knowing anything? My name is Alexander. Pretty cool and old-fashioned, right? Even so, maybe it was hard for kids to call me that, so in kindergarten, everyone called me Alex. Now, I'm happily married to a woman I met during high school. We support each other and work together every day. It's busy and tough, but we're living fulfilling days. I wouldn't say I have a cleaning obsession, but I really like to clean. I need to keep not only myself, but also my surroundings clean to be satisfied. Each room has a lint roller ready, and there are 2 trash cans in each room. I can't stand things being left out, and I get restless if things aren't in their proper place. The same goes for my appearance. I hate it if my clothes aren't washed and ironed. Even if a bit of wrinkle is considered stylish for some clothes, I'd iron them. That's why I couldn't accept jeans with intentional damage that were popular for a while. But of course, coming home tired from work, it's better to be welcomed by a clean room than a dirty one. It's like a trait I was born with, so no matter how tired I am, I never skip cleaning. Cleaning also helps me relieve stress, so it's ultimately for my own good. People who don't know me well often think I have a cleaning obsession. And I not only like cleaning my room myself, but also enjoy watching others clean. Watching everyone cooperate in cleaning from a step back is something I like to observe. Many people struggle with cleaning and tidying up. That's why observing someone who can move efficiently feels like I can learn about their strengths in areas I wouldn't know from their regular work. I like discovering these unseen aspects through cleaning. And my wife, Charlotte, has a strict personality when it comes to manners and etiquette. As a matter of course, I've always said I'm off and I'm home, even when I was living alone. But the most stringent aspect was the attitude towards others. No matter the circumstances, I would never forgive someone who belittled others or hurled insults in front of a third party. If someone dared to do such a thing in front of Charlotte, they'd get a lecture. I've been present in such situations a few times, but it was in those moments that I found Charlotte quite intimidating and firmly told myself, I must watch my behavior and choice of words around Charlotte. Speaking of grooming, it brings back a memory. This was back when I was in middle school. I believe everyone has their own values, but there was one classmate who was awkwardly trying to connect with me. This classmate was a girl named Sophia who served as a class representative. At the time, Sophia was one of the top students in our class. Apparently, both of her parents had attended and graduated from top universities, and it seemed like academic excellence ran in her family. Maybe that's why she was raised with the mindset that being the best was the norm. She always kept people at a distance. Winning was expected, and she believed she always had to be on top, leading and giving orders. This belief was as natural to her as breathing. Even though I thought it was a twisted view, I didn't say anything since she seemed okay with it, especially since Sophia was solely focused on her studies. And I was the one who always competed with her for the top spot in our grade. Perhaps because my parents were also academically inclined, I had always had a good memory since I was young. I studied for tests, But if I paid attention during regular classes, I didn't need to cram to score well. I wouldn't say this out loud, though, to avoid sounding boastful. But for me, preparing for tests was just a review. For Sophia, it must have been frustrating not to be the clear number one. In her eyes, I was nothing but an obstacle. I had no intention of competing with Sophia, but by our third year in middle school, she started to make snide remarks every time she outperformed me. "Oh, Alexander, did you have an off day this time? I was feeling a bit under the weather on the test day and thought I wouldn't make it to the top. Was it difficult for you?" She implied that she was clearly at the top of the class and laughed, saying, "Oh, you didn't understand such an easy question. Are you sure you are reviewing properly, Alexander?" While Sophia's grades were indeed excellent, her social skills and grooming left much to be desired. The girls around us were starting to take an interest in fashion and made efforts to look cute within the school rules. But Sophia's interests were solely academic, with no concern for fashion. She had the classic nerdy look, with braided pigtails and thick glasses. But nobody dared to point this out to her. Although Sophia was a top student, her condescending attitude meant she had no friends. She didn't seem to care, though, and spent her breaks reading alone at her desk. Among the girls starting to embrace fashion, she stood out for not fitting in. Among the boys, she was referred to behind her back as the nerdy girl. One day, thinking I was doing her a favor, I decided to give her some advice. "Sophia, aren't you interested in fashion?" "Huh? You know, like trying contacts or changing your hairstyle. Just removing her glasses could change her impression, and if contacts were too scary, switching to more fashionable glasses could still transform her look. And her hairstyle could use a change too. Letting down her braids for a ponytail or even cutting it to a bob could make a big difference. I thought even trimming her bangs could make her face appear brighter. Maybe you'd make some friends then." "Shut up." Sophia suddenly became furious at my suggestion. She stood up abruptly, throwing a book at me. "I don't need to hear that from you. I was just trying to help." "That's called meddling. None of your business. What's it to you anyway? Looks are subjective. I like my glasses and hairstyle as they are. Just leave me alone." Sophia's loud retort drew the attention of the entire class, and from that point on, she looked at me even more critically than before. Even though Sophia glared at me until graduation, I endured it, thinking that our association would end with middle school anyway. Naturally, Sophia's path was to attend a prestigious school. She might have been influenced by the expectations of those around her and her parents. On the other hand, I chose a regular public high school. When Sophia found out, she came up to my desk, puffing her chest out in triumph. "Alexander, I hear you're going to a public high school." "Yeah, so what? It's a shame. I thought I could compete with you here as well. I'm going to the top school in the county, so we might not see each other again." I truly hope so from the bottom of my heart. Continuing to face such an attitude in high school would probably drive me to the brink of stress. I've always been someone with little desire for competition. I don't cling to material things, and I can easily give up something if it means competing with someone else for it. Besides, attending a prestigious school would likely require a lot of money. My family is just an average middle-class household. Both my parents are intelligent, but they've never been interested in climbing the corporate ladder, believing that a balanced life without excess is best. So, we've always lived modestly. That's why I chose a school that was convenient and affordable. There's no shame in it since the school's academic level was average. It was also at this high school that I met Charlotte, who would become my wife. Therefore, I can confidently say that my choice was the right one. My meeting with Charlotte started with me falling for her at first sight. She was straightforward, disliked dishonesty, and had a no-nonsense personality, which seemed to put off some students. But more than that, she was surrounded by many female friends. Charlotte was serious but also knew how to blend in with those around her. Like a typical high school girl, she wore makeup within the school rules and matched accessories with her friends. I secretly admired Charlotte from afar. We were in different classes. Our electives and committees were also different, so I wanted to find a way to connect, but there were no opportunities for interaction. I was almost ready to give up, but it seems that fate was on my side. By chance, I ended up working at the same part-time job as Charlotte, which was introduced to me by a senior. The job was at a small bookstore. Charlotte worked the counter, while I handled stocking new books, weekly magazines, and journals. The weight of the magazines could be quite heavy in large numbers. I was prepared for the physical demand, but by the time I finished, my back and arms ached terribly. During a break, I found myself massaging my back in the storeroom. Embarrassingly, this turned out to be the first chance for Charlotte and me to converse. "Huh, you look beat. Good job, Alexander." "Ah, thanks. We're from the same high school, right?" You know about me." I was thrilled, and my heart raced at the thought that she knew me. I wasn't a standout like Charlotte, so I assumed I was unnoticed. I was even prepared to graduate without ever being recognized by her. Because it's a cool name, Alexander has an old-fashioned ring to it. Yeah, I like it too." Charlotte started to close the distance between us, and I was secretly celebrating inside. After that, we began talking about high school at our part-time job, and even started chatting at school. We would greet each other in the hallways and even started lending and borrowing textbooks. When we ended up in the same class as we moved up the grades, we would often engage in lively conversations in the classroom. Charlotte was always popular, and she was constantly surrounded by people. Feeling anxious about this situation, I decided to confess my feelings to her on the way home from our part-time job. "I like you. Will you go out with me?" It wasn't a cool way to confess, but I just expressed my feelings directly, in a straightforward manner. That was all I, a clumsy person, could do. In the dimly lit street after our part-time job, without any romantic atmosphere or mood, Charlotte accepted me. We smoothly started dating from there and graduated from high school. We didn't go on to university together, but instead decided to work at the headquarters, introduced by our part-time job manager. Furthermore, the manager acted as a matchmaker, and they were able to get married. Everything seemed to fall into place smoothly since meeting Charlotte, and I cherished my happiness. One day, as I was diligently cleaning at the company as usual, a shadow fell in front of me. Because I was mopping the floor, I could tell from the feet that the shadow belonged to a woman wearing a recruit suit and high heels. And when I looked up to see the face, I was startled. Sophia. It was Sophia, my classmate from middle school, with whom I had lost touch since graduation. It seemed Sophia had started to care a bit more about her appearance compared to back then. Her glasses were now half-rimmed, and she had a fashionable hairstyle, held up with a black scrunchie. However, her makeup didn't seem quite right, as if she wasn't used to it or it didn't suit her. "Ha ha." Sophia looked down at me and chuckled. She puffed up her cheeks, crossed her arms, and lifted the corners of her mouth. Are you the one crawling around here, Alexander?" "Hey, Sophia, long time no see. Are you seriously doing this as a job, janitor? Haha, oh dear, have you fully embraced being a loser?" As Sophia said all this in one breath, I secretly thought to myself, same as ever. She didn't raise her voice, but her condescending attitude hadn't changed. No, it might have even powered up. "Alexander, you didn't pursue further studies. Even though there are jobs out there even for high school graduates, choosing to be a cleaner, isn't that too much? To think you were my rival during middle school. That's enough. As Sophia continued to look down on me and spew sarcasm, Charlotte's voice sharply cut through. Charlotte's gaze was stern. Even as her husband, I felt a chill run through me at her expression. What now? Charlotte, in front of a flustered Sophia, pulled out a document and showed it to us. It was Sophia's resume, with Sophia written in the name section. Seeing that we had recognized it, Charlotte quickly tore it down the middle. The sound of the paper tearing was followed by more tearing, until it was shredded beyond repair. What are you doing? Do you even realize whom you were talking to? Huh? The person cleaning over there, that's our president, Mr. Johnson. President? Seriously, coming here without even researching the president of the company you're applying to? We don't need to interview someone like you. Please leave. Charlotte pointed sharply towards the exit, and inside, I thought, scary. While Sophia was busy studying at university, I had been working hard at the headquarters, learning the ropes from seniors and superiors. Through hard work and gradually improving performance, the president advised me that I was better suited to starting my own business rather than working under someone else. He was truly kind to me until the end, passing on books that inspired him during his own entrepreneurial journey, and even taking me to networking parties with other business owners, introducing me to many valuable contacts. With such support from those around me, Charlotte and I discussed it and decided to start our own company. I was actually aware that Sophia had applied to our company. When her application came through, I wondered if it was some mistake, but enough time had passed since middle school, and Charlotte thought it was okay, so I let her application proceed to the interview stage. Charlotte was in charge of everything that followed. I trusted Charlotte's judgment and strictness in manners. She has a keen eye for people. That's why I entrusted her with the roles of my secretary and HR director. Our company, though small, has successfully attracted talented individuals and expanded its business. I believe this success is solely due to Charlotte's exceptional ability to evaluate people. As the HR director, Charlotte took action against Sophia. Even if you were a classmate of President Johnson, it doesn't matter. We don't hire people who lack the basic etiquette expected of a working professional. What do you mean? I graduated from a top university in active service. So what? Weren't you the one who always had it in for him during middle school, always acting snide towards him? In the professional world, your academic background isn't as important as having common sense and basic decency. Sophia fell silent under Charlotte's relentless words. Essentially, Charlotte was saying Sophia lacked common sense. If you still want to join our company, carefully consider what I've said and start over from square one. That day, Sophia was sent home without even being allowed to interview. Later, I heard from a middle school friend about some rumors circulating in our hometown regarding this incident. Despite attending a prestigious school, Sophia wasn't as exceptional as she or others thought. She wasn't the top student, and she didn't get into top-tier universities like Harvard. To make matters worse, her younger sister was highly talented and got into one of the nation's top universities straight out of high school. The difference between them had been evident since childhood, and Sophia was constantly compared to her sister by relatives and her parents. Why can't she be more like her sister? Really, who does she take after? It seemed she was treated harshly by her own parents, likely feeling quite out of place at home. Desperate for their recognition, she neglected fashion and socializing with classmates, focusing solely on her studies. To her, someone like me, who often ranked first in our grade, was nothing but an obstacle. Understanding the background made her intense rivalry more comprehensible. Then, my friend started saying something strange. Weren't you the only one who paid attention to Sophia? Maybe she had a crush on you. What? She treated me like trash. You know, like how kids are mean to those they actually like. That's what was suggested, but the only time I initiated contact with Sophia was when I commented on her grooming. Other than that, it was always Sophia who picked fights with me, and she seemed to have regarded me as an enemy ever since the grooming comment. If what my friend said was true, then Sophia might be even more awkward than I am. Perhaps she had her own way of reaching out, but at the time, I was not comfortable around Sophia and had no interest in romance, so I wouldn't have noticed anyway. Sophia's awkwardness hasn't changed, has it? But I did leave her many hints. When I said, "Come back after you've thought it over," I didn't say, "Don't ever come back. She can figure it out if she thinks about it, right?" If she was listening properly in that state, that is. Even though I heard about it from you, I didn't expect it to be that bad. She seemed like someone not used to dealing with people. Faced with Charlotte's sharp assessment, I could only offer a wry smile without a response. Sophia might have been harshly judged by her family, but she was undoubtedly intelligent. With her intellect and capabilities, I hope this experience frees her from her past constraints and helps her rediscover her true potential. Once she calms down, she'll notice the hints Charlotte gave her, and I hope she'll come back for another interview. I sincerely hope that everything moves in a positive direction. Did you finally come to submit your resignation because you couldn't take it anymore? That was said by my ex-wife, Sophia. My name is Michael Taylor, a 30-year-old divorcee. I divorced Sophia when I was 24. I met Sophia by chance. She happened to be a classmate from middle school. She approached me when I was just starting at my current company. "Are you Michael?" "Yes, I'm Michael, but..." "Don't you remember? I'm Sophia. We were in the same class in middle school, right?" "What, Sophia? I didn't recognize you. You've become such a beautiful woman." And so, we ended up going out to eat that day. I joined a company as a salesperson, and she was a beautiful receptionist. She graduated from a prestigious university, and at that time, I just told her I graduated from an ordinary one. The truth is, I can't trust women. This goes back to when I was in elementary school. My father worked for a securities company and was very busy. My mother also worked full-time, but one day, she suddenly stopped coming home. "Hey, Dad, where did Mom go?" "Michael, Mom isn't coming back." "What?" My father was filling in a divorce letter. I was almost finishing elementary school, and I never heard from my mom again. At that time, my grandmother, who was at our house, said that my mother left because she fell in love with another man. My heart became void. My father liked Italian and often read books in Italian. Back then, I also borrowed my father's books and translated them with a dictionary. I didn't feel like doing anything else. "You like Italian, right? Or how about staying at your uncle's place? Your cousin Alex also likes Italian, and I'm going to be busy with work again," my father said quietly. After my mother left, I felt as though I had locked away all the happy memories of going out with my family on weekends, along with the joy I felt with my family and friends. In some corner of my heart, I was filled with sadness. I was an only child but used to be outgoing. I didn't hate studying and enjoyed playing games with friends, going back and forth to each other's houses. However, I lost the desire to invite friends over, and I just ate the deli food my father bought every day, locked myself in my room, and did my homework alone. Classmates asked me various questions as I had become silent, but I couldn't answer any of them. One day, an unknown lady came to our house and started living with us. I wonder if Dad is going to marry this lady. It was then that I told my father, "Dad, I'm going to live with my uncle," and moved. My uncle and aunt welcomed me warmly. Especially Alex, 2 years older than me, was glad to have me. But Alex was busy with tutoring and Italian classes. Having transferred schools, I didn't make friends easily, so I contacted my father and asked if I could also attend tutoring and Italian classes with Alex. Although my days became filled with studying, I liked studying, so it wasn't a hardship. Alex often helped me with my studies, which I appreciated. Eventually, Alex and I even started speaking in Italian. My uncle and aunt worked for foreign companies and had lived in Italy, so their Italian was fluent, and gradually, our family conversations shifted to Italian. Life with them was more enjoyable than living with my father. One of my uncle's college friends lived in England, and Alex went to study there after graduating from middle school. When I was in the second year of middle school, Alex said, "Michael, it's fun here. You should come to high school here too." And I decided to go to England for high school. And, just like Alex, I managed to get into Oxford University. After graduating in 3 years, Alex had found a job in England, and I also got a call from Alex and worked in sales in England for a year. After that, I returned home and joined my current company. I still hadn't heard from my mother. Despite my distrust of women due to my mother, I fell in love at first sight with Sophia when I met her again after 10 years. However, I kept quiet about my educational background and upbringing. Sophia had many friends within the company, and I didn't want my educational background to be talked about. Being thought of as smart by the employees seemed bothersome to me. Of course, the HR department and President Thompson knew. Sophia and I often went out for meals or to the movies. We found that we shared a taste in movies, and she started visiting my apartment. I was living in alone at the time, and our relationship deepened quickly. We got married swiftly within a year. Sophia still wanted to work, so she continued as a receptionist within the company, while I was busy with sales. In the sales department, there was an incredibly handsome and refreshing senior, Tom Jackson. He was 5 years older than me and had excellent sales performance. He was already a manager at a young age. At first, I spent my days being taken around for sales visits by my seniors. I had learned sales pitches in England, but now I was learning American sales techniques from my seniors. There were many late nights due to entertaining clients. Sophia, who had been living alone, was good at cooking and would wait for me. But that only lasted for the first year. Struggling to improve my sales performance, Tom would say to me, "Hey, Michael, make more calls, secure more appointments, and get moving." "Yes, Tom, my apologies." Saying that, I would compile materials on the computer and rush out. Nights of entertaining became more frequent, leaving me exhausted every evening. When I got home, Sophia wasn't there. Checking my phone, I found a message, "I'm going to a reunion today, I'll be late, so go ahead and sleep." There was no dinner prepared. Too tired to cook, I went to the nearby convenience store, bought a ready-made meal, and ate it. I decided to check Sophia's emails earlier from now on. I had trouble falling asleep, but it seemed Sophia came back around 2 a.m. We were renting an apartment, but we had separate bedrooms. We didn't plan on having children yet, and I often came home late. Even on the rare days off, Sophia would meet with friends, and our time as a couple began to diverge. On the other hand, I gradually got used to the sales job, and though busy, my performance started to improve slightly. A colleague, Ryan, approached me. "Michael, are you free tonight? Let's go out for a drink if you're okay with it." "I'm free tonight. It would be nice for a change." So, we decided to go out for drinks. Ryan had a bottle kept at his favorite bar, and he offered me a drink. "Thanks, Ryan. I'll take you up on that. You come here often, huh?" "Yeah, sometimes for entertaining clients, but it's a nice, relaxing place, isn't it? Yeah, it's quiet and somehow comforting. As we were talking, the bar's owner served us a delicious dish. Been busy every day. I wanted some place to relax. Yeah, sales is tough. I just go with the flow even when I get scolded, Ryan said with a grin. And so, we spent the evening leisurely drinking together. That loud Tom is about to become a department head, you know. Yeah, he's young but talented. And he's handsome, a Harvard grad, the complete package. Harvard grad, huh? I didn't know that. I'm just from a local university. For me, my uncle suggested this company, and I ended up joining, kind of just went with the flow. I was just happy to be hired. After all, it's a major company. Yeah. But don't you think that Tom acts a bit too high and mighty? Well, he is a boss, so maybe that's just how it is. You're so earnest, Michael. Don't push yourself too hard and end up sick. You've got a beautiful wife, after all. Thanks. Being earnest is pretty much all I've got going for me. There's a company drinking party coming up, so let's hit it up again then. Yeah, let's do that. And so, Ryan and I took separate taxis home. Sophia said she was going out to dinner with friends again today, so she wasn't home when I got back. This kind of life continued. One day, there was a party because Tom had been promoted to department manager, and the employees gathered. Congratulations on your promotion, Tom. Ryan said this as he was pouring beer. The other female employees were also fawning over the handsome Tom, who seemed to remember all their names, giving off the impression of a ladies' man. Thank you everyone for today, but please continue to work hard moving forward. The ladies have been doing especially well. Tom is always sweet towards the women. Sitting close to Tom, Sophia was complimented. Sophia, you're always so beautiful. Well, all the receptionists are beautiful too. Tom, in a good mood, had the women pour him beer. Ryan and I were enjoying the food, munching away. The dishes were surprisingly tasty, and since I'm not much of a drinker, I enjoyed chatting with Ryan and the seniors. Then, Tom, being fussed over by my wife, said, Sophia, pour me some more beer. I was not unhappy. Come on, Sophia, have a drink too, and Sophia, being poured beer by Tom, seemed to be enjoying herself. I wish this would end soon. I wanted to leave the party. Looking closer, Sophia seemed unsteady on her feet. She's drunk too much. I thought to myself. Is your wife okay? She's had quite a bit to drink, Ryan whispered to me. Yeah, seems like she's had a fair bit. I'll take her home later. Comes getting a bit too carried away with all the attention, don't you think? Really, I agreed, and Ryan and I shared a wry smile as the party finally ended. Then I guided the staggering Sophia to a taxi and headed home. Sophia was half asleep at the entrance. Sophia, you've drunk too much. I might have overdone it a bit. The next day was a day off, so I carried Sophia to bed as she was. I also took a shower and rested. The next morning, waking up a bit late, I heard the shower running. Sophia's in the shower. I washed my face and was toasting some bread in the kitchen. Did you sleep well? I've made some toast. Have some. I feel kind of hungover. Not much of an appetite. Saying that, Sophia went to the sofa and started fiddling with her phone, so I ate 2 slices of toast. And as I was relaxing and watching TV, Sophia suddenly started getting ready to go out. Huh? Are you going out again today? Yeah, I totally forgot. I'm meeting a high school friend today. I see. I was thinking maybe we could go shopping together for once. I'll do the shopping. Let's go together next week. Saying that, Sophia went out in daylight. For the first 6 months of our marriage, we lived happily, but this is what our weekend always looked like. In the evening, I received an email on my phone from Sophia. I'm going to the bar with my best friend today, so I'll be home late again. I just replied with a got it after reading that. I opened the fridge, picked something random for dinner, and ate alone. While cleaning the messy kitchen, I started noticing other things. So I vacuumed and did the laundry as well. Sophia had completely stopped doing any housework. I figured she would probably go out again tomorrow. Beautiful Sophia loves fashion, spends her weekend bustling around visiting hair salons, going to the gym with friends, and more. And as expected, she went to the hair salon the next day. Feeling extremely bored, I texted Ryan. Turns out he was free too, so we decided to have lunch together. It's rare to see you on a weekend. Where's your wife? She went to the hair salon today. Well, she is a receptionist, after all. That's unavoidable. Yeah, besides, with all the beauty treatments and aesthetics, women seem to have it tough. But these days, men also go for aesthetics, right? I'm not really into it though. Yeah, I'm not much interested either. Being in sales, appearance is important, but still. Right. But Tom seems like the type who would go for aesthetics, don't you think? His skin is all smooth, it's kind of funny. It does seem like something he would do. Ryan and I laughed about it. It felt odd to enjoy lunch like this as grown men, but it had been a while since I last laughed. Then, life returned to its usual pace, busy with sales work. One night, on my way back from a client dinner, I saw Sophia getting into Tom's luxury car. With a bad feeling, I waited for Sophia to return home to talk about it, but she came back drunk and it was impossible to have a serious conversation. I then considered hiring a private investigator. One day, I received a message from Ryan. "Do you have time for a drink?" he asked, and we met at his regular spot. As usual, Ryan had a bottle kept there, and I accepted his offer. After a while, Ryan hesitantly spoke up. "Sorry for calling you out of the blue. There's something I need to tell you, Michael. Actually, I saw your wife on my way back from a client dinner. So, Ryan took a sip of his drink. And well, I was concerned, so I took a photo with my phone. This is Sophia, right? He showed me his phone. Looking closely, it was a photo of Tom and Sophia walking arm in arm in the city. I took a big gulp of my drink. Yeah, that's definitely Tom and my wife. I once saw Sophia getting into Tom's luxury car after a client dinner. Is that so? We fell silent for a while. I didn't want to know any more about Sophia. I immediately took out my phone and canceled the investigation. The investigators firm emailed me to terminate the ongoing investigation, noting that there was nothing to report on Tom and Sophia's activities over the past 3 days. I quietly said to Ryan, "I'm going to get a divorce." What? Sophia always said she was meeting friends at night, and she always came home late. It feels like we were over as a couple a long time ago. It's not your fault or anything, Ryan. I see. But I've been troubled for a long time, and thanks to you, Ryan, I was able to make a decision. Could you forward me that photo? Are you sure? I'll send it then. Ryan sent me the photo. One day, when I came home early, Sophia was also home unusually early. Sophia, we need to talk about something important. What is it? What's going on between you and Tom? What do you mean? He's just my boss. Really? Is this how a boss and his subordinate behave? I said, showing her 2 photos on my phone. Oh, you caught on. I started being interested in Tom a while ago. After all, he's a Harvard grad and such a looker, right? Plus, he's a manager and makes way more money than you. Sophia defiantly justified herself. I fell silent for a while. We're done, aren't we? I can't believe Sophia turned out to be this kind of woman. It's my fault for falling for her at first sight. That's what I thought to myself. And then, I uttered just one sentence. Please, let's get a divorce. That's what I said. Sophia looked stunned but then said, okay, and pulled out the divorce papers, which were already prepared for me to sign. I was surprised by that, but the document was already signed on her part, leaving only my signature needed. It seemed she had wanted to divorce me all along. I signed immediately and took the papers to the county courthouse. Looking at the paper, I was reminded of my father from a distant memory. I felt like I had lost my heart then, just as I had when I was a child. The next day, I took a day off and spent it alone. I had Sophia take the day off and then asked her, could you pack your things and leave as soon as possible? So, she started packing her belongings. I asked her to take only what she needed. I decided to dispose of everything else myself. And that evening, Sophia left. The next day at the office, Tom approached me. Hey, Michael, taking a day off while you can't even make decent sales. People like you should be sent somewhere way off. Tom, do you mean a demotion? I understand, but could I have a moment of your time, if you don't mind? All right, shall we step out someplace nearby? So, Tom and I went to a cafe near the office. About my wife. What about Sophia? Could you take a look at this? Saying that, I showed Tom the photo of him and Sophia walking arm in arm, looking cozy together. I see, and what about this? Sophia confessed to me, you know. Or are you here to beg for money, wanting some sort of compensation? Yes, considering we were married. How much do you want? $30,000 would be sufficient. I see, that's a small amount. I'll pay it right away. I'll send you my bank account details later then. After that, Tom and I returned to the office. Back at the office, I said, Tom, regarding the demotion, I'll go and have a word with Mr. Thompson first, and then clear my desk. I went to the president's office. Knocking twice, I entered. Come in. Excuse me. Michael, that's quite a misfortune. Take a seat, relax. Thank you. Actually, I had seen Tom and your ex-wife together before. It's unfortunate that Sophia turned out to be that kind of woman. It must be hard for you to stay in this company. Currently, there's a branch in Italy. With your excellent educational background, you should be able to enjoy your work there. What do you think? A branch in Italy. I understand. I'll do my best. That was my decision. I had already informed Mr. Thompson about the situation via email in advance. And so, I ended up going to Italy. Returning to the office, I thanked all the employees, cleared my desk, and left the company. When I was leaving, Tom had a smirk on his face, and my ex-wife at the reception ignored me. The agreed amount from Tom had already been out. Thus, I flew to the Italian branch. The employees there welcomed me, and Mr. Thompson had arranged a place for me to live. It took me a while to get used to the job, but one day, I saw a familiar face. It was Alex. Hey, Alex. Michael, is that you? What brings you here? Why are you here, Alex? We both asked each other, surprised. That night, I went out to dinner with Alex. I'm so happy to see you again, Michael. Me too, actually, I got demoted. What were you, demoted? Did things not go well in the States? Well, kind of. My sales were okay, but I didn't get along with the manager back at the headquarters. I ended up marrying a classmate from middle school in America, but she got involved with the manager. What? You've been through a lot, and then you got demoted because of that manager. Sounds inconsistent. Maybe, but in the end, it was Mr. Thompson who pushed me forward. I see. I transferred here from England after Mr. Thompson offered me a position. You knew him. Mr. Thompson is a friend of my father. I had no idea. That's how it is. Since you like Italian, maybe you're better off here. Did you end up divorcing? Yeah, I got a clean divorce. Italy's not bad. I'm the sales manager now. I'm looking forward to working with you, Michael. Thank you, boss. I enjoyed reuniting with my cousin Alex. Later, Alex and I started working together in sales. Alex was married to an Italian woman and had a cute blonde son. It seems that Alex's wife's sister also works here. Although the branch is quite large, so I hadn't had the chance to meet her yet. Work got busy, but Alex and I visited various companies. One day, I was invited to Alex's house. His lovely blonde wife and her sister, who looked just like her, were there. Alex's son was adorable and took a liking to me. I almost fell for the sister at first sight, but having learned from my past mistake, I had reverted to being wary of women. Alex's wife and her sister had spent some time in America as children, so their English was excellent. "I'm glad you could come," his wife said. "You're as wonderful as your brother," her sister told me in English. We had a lavish meal and a great time that day. Sometimes I would visit Alex's house or he would recommend delicious restaurants as we worked hard. 3 years later, Alex approached me with a proposal. "There's a $1 million deal coming up. I'm entrusting it to you, Michael. Of course, I'll accompany you." "What? That's a huge responsibility. Can you send me the documents on my computer?" I reviewed the documents sent by Alex multiple times. Gradually, I comprehended the contents with care. On the day of the business meeting, I presented to the client fluently in Italian. I answered all of the client's questions meticulously. Slowly, the client's face brightened into a smile. Then, Alex and I sealed the deal with a firm handshake from the client. Afterward, Alex and I were called by Chairman Morris. "Alex, Michael, thank you for your efforts. I've heard a lot about you from President Thompson. So think you two are cousins. Please enjoy a leisurely meal together." Chairman Morris arranged a full-course meal for us and then excused himself. "Congratulations, Michael. Your Italian was excellent," Alex said. "Thanks, Alex. I miss the days we spent together in England," I responded. After that, Alex and I enjoyed a feast and returned home. Subsequent negotiations were entrusted solely to me, and I successfully closed many deals. One day, I heard that Alex's sister-in-law wanted to speak with me, so I went to Alex's house. The conversation was about her desire to live in America eventually, and her wish to date me. I shared my family's past history with Alex present. When I was young, my mother suddenly disappeared. Then, I stayed with Alex's family for a while, went to study in England, returned to work in America, and got married once, but my wife cheated on me. I shared everything as it was. Both Alex's wife and her sister exclaimed how terrible my ex-wife was. I wanted to overcome my distrust of women. She was a beautiful woman with clear blue eyes, and she shed tears for me. Her name was Lily. After sharing my past, Lily and I started dating. This time, we decided to take things slow and carefully understand each other's personalities. 2 years passed. 5 years had elapsed since I first met Lily. One day, Chairman Morris and Mr. Thompson visited the company. I hugged Mr. Thompson. And so, the conversation turned to Mr. Thompson and Chairman Morris. "Actually, I've been appointed as the new president here by Chairman Morris, and for the significant achievements you've made, Michael, we'd like you to take over as president at the headquarters." "Me, president? I'd also like to ask you, Michael, please take charge of the headquarters." "Yes, thank you very much." Although surprised, this meant I would be returning to America. But before that, there was something I absolutely had to do. I told Lily about returning to America, and also that I wanted her to be my secretary. "Lily, Would you come back to America with me? And I'd like you to live with me as my business partner. Business, or as your wife. My face turned red, and I corrected myself. Yes, if you're willing. Please become my wife, I said, extending my right hand. Lily took my hand firmly in both of hers and said thank you in English. Before returning to America, under the watchful eyes of Alex and his wife, Lily and I had a church wedding in Italy. Then, Lily and I went back to America together. We get married right away, and I went to the headquarters for the first time in a while with Lily. That's when I encountered Sophia, who I didn't want to see. Michael couldn't stand being demoted and came to submit your resignation, she said, ever so sarcastically. Right then, the beautiful, blonde Lily took my hand and said, Mr. President, Chairman Morris is waiting for you. Sophia was shocked. President. Michael is the president. Then Lily said to Sophia in fluent English, Oh, haven't you heard? My husband has been excellent since his high school days in England, and is an Oxford graduate. What, Oxford? Husband? Sophia and Tom, who was with her, were both astonished. Sophia's name tag read Sophia Bennett. Tom Bennett was pale, president, Oxford graduate. That blonde beauty is his wife. I couldn't help but laugh, realizing those two got married. Then Ryan came running. Michael, welcome back. Looking forward to working with you as the new president. I've always thought you might be a bit of a genius looking at your reports. Ryan welcomed me with a smile. Then, I greeted everyone at the headquarters and started my new role. Later, Lily gave birth to a beautiful blonde girl. Now, Lily, our adorable daughter, and I live happily together while safeguarding the company.